Hi everyone, welcome to Cream Conversations. Today we're sitting down with the founder of Srisun Express, a local round-the-clock Indian food spot, and we're sitting in Serangoon Gardens, a space that she recently hired Cream Pie to redesign. Do you want to give a little bit of introduction, Jay?
Hi, my name is Jay, and I'm the founder of Srisun Express. The brand has been around for about 11 years, and we've got about 5 outlets, and it's island-wide. We have got one in Serangoon Gardens, Tampines, Bukit Batok, Ang Mo Kio, and Bishan.
Okay, so for the people who don't know what Srisun is, let's start from the beginning. What made you want to open Srisun Express?
I think, to be honest, right, I don't like cooking, but I think I like branding. So I think a lot to do with wanting to create a brand. Like when I was doing my A-levels, I did business or management, and it was a subject that I loved a lot. And I think what I really liked was I wanted to create the brand because my mom had a prata. I can't say my mom had a prata shop. She had a canteen in my secondary school.
Cute.
Yeah, and in the secondary school that I was schooling.
Yeah.
And after that, she was like, hey, I want to actually try having a prata stall. And I said, okay. And then we went to a coffee shop. And then on weekends, I used to help her. It was just the initial part. And then, there was once we had to increase the price of the prata, and customers were really upset, like in the coffee shop. It was just 10 cents and they were really unhappy. Then it got me thinking that how come in the malls you've got like Prata Wala selling 2 prata with chicken curry at $8.90 and people are willing to pay.
Correct.
Then it got me thinking it's really the branding, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the space.
Yes, and the space. Yeah. So it's the way you brand. I think space makes a big difference. Space, the way you brand it, the way you put it out to people. It's always like how much of value, the service, and what kind of value you add. Yeah. So what happened was I had a space that came about in Goven, and just overnight I wanted to purchase the place. I want to take over the place. So it's actually a restaurant. It is a typical Indian Muslim restaurant. It was a high turnover. So every year, I think there were just different operators who were operating. So I took that and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to work on this. It's going to be my project and I'm going to work on that. And that's how Srisun Express birthed actually.
So the first outlet was in Goven. I always thought Serangoon Gardens because she grew up in this area, right?
Yes, I grew up in Ang Mo Kio, but I live in Serangoon Gardens.
Right. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Also, remember we were having a conversation once during renovation. She's very super hands-on together with husband Sundar. And we had this conversation about you saying that wanting to change people's minds on how they feel about regular prata shops.
Yes.
Because what comes to mind, immediately when you think about prata shop, like white lights, very bright, oily, like dirty. You just wanted to get rid of that idea, like you can have prata and sit down in a really beautiful space and enjoy it.
So, when we first opened up in Goven, right? So I had a month, when I took over the place, it was running at a loss. So I told myself, you know what? I've got a month. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to come up with a new menu. And it's not just your typical, a paper which is laminated. I wanted to come up with really a nice menu. I wanted to come up with t-shirts with puns. I wanted to come up with a menu. I wanted, when people were going to walk into the shop, they'd be like, is this a prata shop?
Right.
Or look at the menu or look at the glass that she uses. We used to mason jar at that point of time and you wouldn't have been able to find mason jar.
Oh, definitely not.
Typical prata shop. So
right.
I wanted that. I wanted the cutleries to match. I wanted to make sure that when people came by, they'd be like, wow, this is a prata shop. It
feels different.
Yes.
It feels a bit elevated.
Correct. I wanted to revolutionize it.
Yes.
People needed to say oh, this is different. This is nice,
And where do you think your inspiration came from? Do you think it's from your travels or just being around and eating at many different eateries?
No, I think it's my experience. To be very honest, when we were growing up, my dad used to just ask us to go and buy prata at the coffee shop or the hawker center over the weekend. So we bought and then we'll come back. And every time I went to restaurants, right, I would just sit there thinking why don't we have a prata joint as such? Why is it always just open and then dirty plates?
Yes,
and it's just very different, right? Yes. And then the way people come and serve you. I always used to think why. So when I had the opportunity, right, I think I just jumped on it and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. So when we first opened at Goven, right, it was just a normal restaurant. And the only thing I could pretty much change because I had limited resources, like financially it was a bit limited. So I wanted to change the uniform, the design, the signages, and then I worked on marketing. And to be honest, when we started, right, I wasn't doing very well. Like I was losing at least about like $30,000 a month. It's a lot for someone who's just started.
Yes.
I've got no financial backing. There's no bank loan. And you know, when I started, I was 25. So I didn't have much exposure on where do I get a bank loan? What do I do? At that point of time, that was all that I could do, right? So I was losing about 30,000 a month. And after 5 months, I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So I remember that I already had told like people in the market that the shop was up. So I wanted to actually sell it, like get somebody to take over.
Right.
And then I remember a staff of mine was like, are you sure? Like I was seated at the curb. That means, we've got the shop. I was just seated at the curb. There was no business. And we were beside Nakhon Kitchen. I mean, I don't know if you know Nakhon Kitchen. They are really So now they had one back then in Hougang. It used to be so crowded. So I was just seated down and I was thinking like, what do I do? It's been 6 months. And of course, business got better, but it was not good enough for me to even have a break even. And then my staff said, you know what? You've done so much. Can you just hold on a little longer? Do not sell. Yeah. So that night I went back home and I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do to actually turn this around? And that was the point of time we were having food influencers. The food influencers were coming about.
Right.
And I was like,
what year was this?
This was, I started 2014. So that was in 2014. So I came across the halal food blog and then I was like, you know what, let me reach out to him. And he only had about 6,000 followers. I reached out to him. I didn't get a proper reply. And then I still persevered. I managed to do it. And then we went with them. And then at that point of time, they had Groupon. I don't know whether you know it was Groupon.
I've heard, yes,
Groupon.
I remember.
So that was Groupon. So I just explored different ways, every avenue to make sure I could reach out. What I wanted to do is just reach out to people about the brand first. Yeah. Later, we can focus on everything else. So I just did whatever I should. And then business started getting better. Yep. And then I came up with the idea of a tower. Like a drink tower, like a beer tower.
Oh, right,
so I was like, why we have a beer tower? Why can't I have a Milo tower? So then we had a tower, and then it so happened that someone from all Singapore staff, at that point of time, they were like mothership. So someone came, they took a picture, and the tower was up to the ceiling. The shot that they took showed the tower up to the ceiling. Right. So people were like, oh my God, how come the tower is so tall? Yeah. And of course, it went viral. We had negative comments as well. People would be like, how will they wash the tower? Definitely Prata shop should be dirty and whatever. But to me, was any publicity is good publicity.
Right. For sure,
so it got so crowded and so many people just came for the tower.
Right. Yeah. So it started off with that. Yes, but of course, you also have to have good food, good service. Yes, get people to keep coming back.
Of course.
Right. So now we're sitting in Serangoon Gardens and like from when I tell my friends that I'll do Srisun in Serangoon Gardens, everybody's like, well, that's an institution. Yeah. Which, because I'm not from Serangoon, so I don't really know the neighborhood, right? When I heard that, I was very happy, not just for you, but also myself. And also working with you has been very easy. I was apprehensive at first because, once again, like you said, the stigma with the prata shop, like, oh, are they going to be very difficult? Yes. Am I not going to be able to deliver what they want? Yeah. Was prata going to be a real big issue? But I think you handle all of it really well, which is why we're sitting down today to have this chat. I think we get along really well. There are a lot of similarities in our background that we won't discuss today. Yeah. But more than that, I also appreciate that even though it's been, 11 years? Yep, 11 years in the making, you are still super hands-on. Yeah. Right? So you've done everything from day one from scratch, right? So can we talk a little bit about growth and expansion? Okay. So at what point from one outlet at Goven did you decide, okay, it's time, like I have what it takes to expand and people will still come?
Okay, I think when it was just at Goven, I was just focusing on it. It started doing so well. And then I realized when I speak to customers, because I'm always in the shop. So when I speak to customers, they tell me they're coming from Pasir Ris, they're coming from Toa Payoh. Right. And I used to wonder, why are they traveling all the way? There must be, it's the food, it's the service, and they like being there, right? Yes. And at the point of time, I decided, I live in Serangoon Garden. So I remember on an evening, I was walking along with my cousin, and this very same place that we are seated, right? It was actually closed. And it used to be Tom Yum Kung Fu. That was like, oh my God. Around here. This place is exactly.
Oh, this unit. Okay.
Unit. And then I was like, they actually had gone across and then they said it was available for rental. And for many years, I think I started coming to Serangoon Gardens in my 20s. I used to always think, well, how would it be like to be in this place? Yeah. And then I called up and I spoke to the landlord. We took the place. And this was my actually very first project, I should say, where I invested in renovations. I spent and I told myself I wanted to be different. So prior to this design, we followed the industrial theme design. We spent quite a bit on renovation.
Sorry, which year was this? So this is your second outlet.
Yes,
okay, 3 years in, 3 years in.
So 2016 was my second outlet. I wanted to have aircon inside, and then we had subway tiles, and I got someone to do it. I didn't engage the ID back then, so I just put ideas together, and then we got it going.
Right.
At that point of time, when people used to walk in, people would be like, is this a laundrette? Or is this a prata shop? How come a prata shop looks like that? This is what they used to say. And then we had some customers who used to ask us, because you've got RK opposite, and they've been here for the longest while. So people used to ask us, oh my God, there's a prata shop opposite, and you are here, you're not afraid. So I used to tell them, they are different, I'm different. Our USP, our unique selling point is entirely different. And I said, the pie is so big.
Yes.
What they serve is not what we serve. So I said, I'm not fearful.
This is what I tell people all the time. I think like people always think, oh, Singapore's so small dot, you know. I think that the pie is big enough. Yes. If everyone's serving like slightly different things or the USP, as you said, is different, there it should be enough to go around. Yes. I mean, some days you might want to eat here, some days you can eat there. It's fine. Like
it's different, right? Like
you shouldn't feel like it's competitors coming. Like what should I do?
Yes.
You know.
I was happy because after that they underwent renovation, because people used to say that, oh, you know, it's dirty.
Yeah.
And after that, you see, they underwent renovation. Their service beefed up, and it's good because you kind of get your competitors going and they up the game, right? It's a win-win. At the end of the day, I don't want people to say that, oh, prata means it's dirty. Prata means you serve it in a shop where it's hot. I just didn't like that stigma that it's always been all along.
Which actually I truly appreciate, because I mean, I believe all locals would love a good prata shop, right? But as you said, it's like I also experienced, like even the cutlery comes, it's always oily.
Yeah.
Or something, you know, you see the way they store the food is very unhygienic. Yes. But you still eat it anyways, because that was your only option. So I've eaten here a few times, and I must say the food is always fresh when it comes. Service is different. Everybody serves you with a smile. One of the things that Jay really wanted was the open kitchen, the window into the kitchen to see how things are being made. So I think it's really transparent. Yeah. It's clean. And also, if you are standing there watching how the prata is being made or your goreng's being fried, the staff is very friendly. They're engaging with you. So I think that
these are the little details that I used to tell them, like cleanliness. You know, when you're wiping the table, I said you use a spray. So I remember when I first started, we contacted Ecolab. We make sure we got a spray where you can sanitize the table, because you don't get all of these. So whatever I didn't get it in those shops, I wanted to make sure I had it in my shop. That I always tell my staff, please serve them with a smile, say hello, greet them. So these little details matter a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what went from like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then now you have...
Okay. So we had the second one here, right? So then what happened, we were so busy at Goven, the landlord comes and tells me he was not going to renew the lease.
Why?
Yes. And I had 2 units. So
so weird.
Yes, I had 2 landlords. I had one up, I had one bottom, below. So he told me I'm not going to renew. I said, why? He said, oh, we are a group of partners, and we actually, since you've brought the crowd in, we actually want to start our own business. I tried to speak to him, and I was at a loss. At that point of time, I was thinking, this is when you realize you're at the mercy of the landlord. You put in so much, you build the business, you are running it, and there the landlord says, I'm sorry. Yeah. And at that point of time, after we opened up here, we had a lot of like landlords, shopping malls approaching us. I think it's the concept, the way we were running it. Right. So we had a landlord who said, hey, I've got a unit at Tampines. Do you want to come over? I had no choice, right? So I moved the entire team over there.
So Goven's shut.
Goven is shut, right? After a year, they called us there back again because they didn't do well. But I said, I'm sorry, I'm not coming back. Right. You know, I could have gone there, but I felt that, no, you didn't appreciate. And I think it took so much to build it, right? So I didn't want to. So then we went, so it was first and second. And then from here, we went back to Tampines again. And after that, I just felt that people started asking us, hey, can you open up in other neighborhoods? So then we expanded. We had one in Bukit Batok and we had one in Ang Mo Kio. After that, I realized we had opened up. We were having a bit of issues. And the issue, because you see, consistency. So
what? Yes.
Consistency, right? Because when
that was actually my next.
Yeah. So you see, when you have got 4, people start saying, hey, the one at Ang Mo Kio doesn't taste the same.
Right.
The one at Bukit Batok, the masala potato is red and here it's yellow because we've got different chefs. So while I was facing that problem, and I also realized I cannot be at all outlets.
No, of course not.
Right? When I first started, so for me, I'm very hands-on. When I first started at this outlet, I remember I eat long hours. I'll come at 8 o'clock, I go back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a quick nap, come back again, because I wanted them to see the kind of standard that I wanted to set. Yeah. So then, because if I'm going to tell them you need to do this and they don't watch me doing it, they don't know the importance. It's like I just had to get that culture going. Right. So it's long hours, and then I realized I couldn't be in all the shops, and at that point of time, so I think we were there, and then COVID came. So when COVID came, before that already, I was looking for a central kitchen that I wanted to centralize the cooking so that the paste, the gravies were all the same, and then we could work on the consistency part. Yeah.
So is that what you did?
We did. So during COVID, we opened up a central kitchen.
Right.
So that was quite good. I think it forced me because, I think COVID kind of just changed a lot of things.
Everyone's game changed.
Yeah. So then we had a central kitchen and then we centralized the cooking. And after that, then I think, because again, it was something new for me. I was working around the central kitchen. It's different. Running a central kitchen and running an outlet is different. After about 2 years, I realized, you know what? I think I need to go back to doing what I do best. And then we started opening up. So we again had another landlord, a very nice landlord who approached us and said, hey, look, I really like
So happened someone approached.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times when people come and plonk themselves here, like landlords, right? They are looking for a tenant who's going to increase the value of their place.
Of course,
right?
definitely.
Yes.
And also long-term, right? They don't want it to be like, 3 months, 6
yes.
months.
They want to look for someone who can sustain.
Correct.
Yeah. So then after that, a landlord came and he was so nice. It was actually a bank. No, it was a clinic actually. So he said, hey, can you take over a lease? And he said, I'm not looking for a short-term lease. I'm looking at least for 7 to 10 years. I said, all right, happy to take it. Location was really good because it was a neighborhood housing estate. So we went to Hougang. And then the very last one was at Bishan. And yeah, so we have... Until now, yes.
So then my next question would be, I have a lot of questions.
Happy to answer.
The next question would be, like staffing, I have a lot of friends in F&B in Singapore. And everyone has the same issue, right? Finding good staff, retaining staff.
Yes.
Like every time I come here, it's always the same few people.
Yes.
I mean, I come here quite a bit since the renovation till today. And they're all very nice, they're very friendly, they're very eager to assist. And I find that very amazing because in F&B, it's very hard to train people and very hard to retain people after training them.
Yes.
So do you have any like secret recipe? What's your secret sauce?
We have the same problem. We have the same problem of retaining workers, but I think it depends. So in the kitchen, it's not so hard because everybody who's been with me have been with me since we started. So I think they've been with us long enough. And then, for example, the prata master. So what he does is then he tells someone, he's like, I've been with this company and they're good. And then they call them over, right?
Sorry, what is a prata master?
The guy who does the prata. The prata chef.
In every shop is he called prata master. I never knew this, or you just called him.
Yeah, so usually you say chef, right? But why I particularly say prata master is because they do the prata. Yeah. Instead of saying he's just a chef. Yes.
It's not everybody.
No.
Oh, I never heard of
Never heard of that.
But it sounds very cool.
Yeah.
You should make him a badge.
Right.
So, does he come up with all your recipes?
No. So so these people, so the people that I work with, right? Okay, we've got the locals, we've got foreigners as well. So what happens is, as long as they know how to do prata, that's what we need. So when they come on board, right, we make sure we explain to them. So I tell them I'm very particular. I say it's not just for the gram that the prata has to look crispy and fluffy. Right. So if I'm standing at the pass, I'm in the shop and the prata comes out and it's not crispy the way I want to, I'm like, sorry, it goes back inside. So I tell them this is my standard. We educate them. We tell them what we want. We communicate with them. And so I realized what do they want? They actually want a stable job. They want growth. Right. They want their annual leave. And to be very honest,
it's the same as everybody
else. Yes. So I feel it's just about making sure that all this, we think all of this, we look after them well, and then there's job satisfaction.
It's out there, regular prata shops. I mean, let's not say that.
Yeah.
Like out there.
Yeah.
They don't get treated like this? You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. But I think from what I've heard, I think these are the things that they like. I think because they feel that maybe they're foreigners or maybe they're locals, you don't have it. So to me, it's the same. I want to make sure that every local wants to, really it's difficult for us to hire locals in the F&B life.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
And I want to make sure that people know the benefits we offer. Like, how are they going to grow with you? And I always tell my staff this. When we have a staff meeting, I tell them, be it whether the person's washing dishes, be it the service staff, I said everybody is important. Because I said, if we do not have either one of them, I said the shop's not going to run. So it doesn't mean one is bigger than the other.
Correct.
So I always tell them that. And I said that you need to remember that. You need to respect one another.
Everybody, yes. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? So there's a very big thing in my company. Like when I hire people, the first thing, not the first thing, but one of the most important things I tell them is, I do not stand for bigotry. Yeah. In this company, no one, because it's a very small company, SME, the way we run like family. So if someone has that kind of character, I instantly I don't want to hire them.
Yes.
Is it the same for you where if you see something happening like that, I'm sure, because in F&B, I have experienced it myself when I was running a cafe ages ago, that people who are maybe a supervisor or like a senior role would, like as you said, look down on the dishwasher and whatsoever. Like, have you ever encountered that?
I won't say look down, but you can see them maybe speaking harshly to them. So I always tell them, don't do that, because without them, the shop's not going to run. If you don't have clean dishes, how are you going to serve people? So I always tell them.
Does it help though by just saying?
No, I think because of how I am. So you see, you would never, I never scold my workers. There was just once when I started out, I remember the kitchen was really busy.
Right.
I went to one of my staff and I remember raising my voice, but I didn't raise my voice. I wasn't harsh to him. I think it was just the tension. And I remember once I went back, I couldn't sleep. So I called him and I apologized. But I think then I realized I'm just a person who can't just scold someone. So to me, it's right. Nobody does a mistake intentionally.
Yes. Unless they do.
Yes, they do, then they're not here. So otherwise, I'll just tell them, sometimes, that one prata from that guy who's doing prata so well, that one prata can just be left. He's tired.
Yes.
So I'll just tell him, hey, you see how is this? So I try to let them know what I really want. Yep. And I also show them. So we take a lot of pride in showing them the pictures, the Google reviews. We get them involved when we're doing marketing reels and all. We get them involved. So that they know how, like everyone, it's a team. It's an entire family. Team. Yes. It's not a one-man show. I need them. They need me. I always tell them that you need the job, I need you. It's a win-win for us. So let's work together. And it's always about growing. We sit down with them, we do appraisals. They've got we get them meals. And so I think it's really, for them, I think what they want to know is they want us to recognize their job.
Also they feel validated.
Yes, correct.
It's like any person in a family, right?
Yes.
Like everybody wants to feel like they're loved, they're cared for, and that you want them there.
Correct.
I think in the very same vein, like I run my company very similarly. Like everyone is important, even though you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and even though I'm running the show, it does not mean that I'm more than you.
Yes.
Of course, I'm making more decisions than you.
Yes.
For everybody's benefit.
Correct.
But it doesn't mean that I'm better than you. And feedback is always welcome from everyone.
Yes.
And I think that's the next. I was going to go into the next thing about having advice for aspiring F&B owners, but just in general, right? For any entrepreneur. I think the word entrepreneur these days gets thrown around way too easily. No thanks to social media and whatever. Yeah. Like you can just, I don't know, like the term is used too loosely.
Yes, I agree.
It actually is. To me, it embodies a lot. Starting company is not just your akra, right? Yeah. It's about running it for the next 10 years and beyond.
Yes.
The expansion, like you said, the challenges, having to close this, open that instead. And how do you even get there? Like saying it in passing, like, because it's been a long time ago, is very easy. But then you have to open a new akra, you have to set up your electrical, your wiring, going through the renovation, understanding how to manage your team even better. So with all that, how would you maybe summarize in maybe 2 good points that you would give out to maybe aspiring as entrepreneurs?
I would say that you really need to know that it's not all that roasted. It's not rose tinted. It's not. You need to go in with the grit, because for any business that you're going to open up, long hours, your manpower, your licensing, things that you don't know. Just for instance, now when we were doing the reno work, like I've had so much of experience because of the other outlets. So every time I'm like, okay, we shouldn't make mistakes. We shouldn't.
But even then, we did some, which I think is the other thing I was going to say. So in construction, there's always going to be mistakes.
Yes.
Put it out there. Yeah. Like for you, you've done so many outlets. For me, I've done so many projects. Yes. Regardless, it's always a new learning curve because every space is different.
Yes. And you learn, right? Then I learn. But for me, the good thing is every time I always say that new day comes new problem. Yeah. But I'm the sort that doesn't sit on it. I would actually say, okay, what do we do? Okay, if this is not going to work, let's just not waste time. Let's just see what needs to be done, because that is how it is in business.
Right.
So if you ask me, I would tell you for all this, like for new business owners, you really need to know that you need to bring a lot of grit. You need to have the resilience, because it's not going to be easy. You just need to keep working on it. Remember, like, why you started out. Right. Be prepared for it. And I always say this, like, when the outlet opened up, I remember my customers were like, oh, you're here every day. I said, yes, I have to be, because I know I know we've been here for like almost 10 years, but then it's a new place. It's different, right? So I want to make sure like everything goes the way I want it to be. The place is clean. The service is there. So I think you have to be here because it's your baby. Only you would know it. And I think, you really just have to allow grit with, especially now when F&B times are tough.
Really tough.
And it's changed, right? Like COVID has changed a lot of things. Like people don't come out for supper. Then what do I do next? How do I change my operations? Right. How do I serve that crowd?
Because it is a 24-hour business.
Then you continuously have to think, okay, how does the business evolve? What do I do? How do I work to improve the morale of the staff? And it's just a lot of things. And I think it's something that you continuously work on. But I think it's about remembering why you first started.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the other thing I would say about us, like smaller SMEs, right? Because some SMEs are really big with a lot of people, right? Do you think you could ever step down? Do you think you could ever take like a 3-month sabbatical, 1 year sabbatical,
So I've taken a 6-month sabbatical when I had my third child.
And also she's a mom of 3. Think about that.
So I did. But you know what's the difficult thing? When I started first, right? I did everything myself, from HR to marketing, your application, your licensing, your ACRA, your accounting, so everything.
Yeah.
And after I opened that, right, then I'll be like, okay, I need to do 3 social media posts, but I could never keep up with it.
Right, of course,
and then I realized when I was reading, right, I read this book that said, you know, Michael Jordan, what is he good in? He plays basketball really well. Everything else, he delegates it. You know, then I realized as much as I feel I'll be the best person to do the job, I think it's time that sometimes if you want to expand or you want to have some time for yourself, you take a step back and then you have people in place.
Right.
So that's what I did. And sometimes things are not done the way you want to. But then again, that's another thing, right? You are empowering, you're teaching them, you're having people under you. Then I'm thinking, how long do I want to do this? Because why am I working hard? I don't want to be doing this for the next 10, 20 years. I want to make sure that I have things in place and then it kind of auto runs.
Right.
So I think it's difficult, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you started it from scratch. It's very difficult to let go.
Right.
But I think letting go is learning, and that's something that I'm learning along the way.
Also, just curious, have you ever experienced burnout? Because I've known so many friends in F&B who've experienced burnout and they don't even know that they're going through burnout.
Yes, of course.
So when you find, like, how did you even realize that you were going through burnout, and what do you do to kind of like as you say, take care of yourself a bit better?
Last year, I think the market was really bad. So the sales were a little bit lull. We were trying to figure out every F&B. I think you can see in the statistics, like a lot of businesses closed.
Yes.
So last year, it was really so bad that I was trying to think, how am I going to sustain? But I think it was good because I've got a few outlets. So it's very different. Like, I think those who just had one outlet, they struggled, you know, because you need to roll the cash and etc. So I was really quite frustrated. And I think I kind of like discerned away, like I kept a bit quiet, and then I tried to do things like I tried to journal, I tried to get more sleep, and I just realized, right, it was just me not addressing the problem.
Right.
So I realized, you know what, okay, if the businesses are causing me losses, or then I just need to make certain decisions. I need to then take a step back, take a look at it, and see how are we going to move forward. So then I think my husband was telling me, I think you're actually very stressed out. Can you take a break? And then I realized I had to. So some days, right? So what I did was I took some time for myself. And now, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, the good thing is you've got so much of time. You can decide when you want to take holidays. But at the same time, right, your brain doesn't just stop.
No, it never switches off.
You know, when I'm sleeping, I'm like, okay, tomorrow what do I do?
Oh yeah, definitely. Same.
This guy didn't turn up. So it's so difficult. Sometimes I tell Sundar, I said, you know what, I wish I had a 9 to 6 job. Because once the job finishes, I go back home and I'm present. I'm not thinking about it.
I feel like that feeling only lasts maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And after that, no. After that, you go back to being that person.
Yeah, because nobody else is going to do it for you, right? You need to do it. So what I do is sometimes I really get tired or stressed. And what I do, I take a break. So now what I do, last time I used to work Monday to Sunday. Then I hired an operations manager when we expanded. So that was the best thing ever because my calls lessen. I stopped getting calls. He makes decisions. He doesn't call me on Saturday, Sunday. And then because he sees how hard I work, he doesn't even call me on Friday because it's like, which is a good thing.
Please.
Yeah, because he's like, boss, you know, why do you have me? So you want these kind of people in your team. So I stopped working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then now it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think as you grow bigger, you get the right people in your team, then you've got more time. And then it makes sense because all the effort that you put in translates to...
And also, I think at some point when you grow a business to a certain extent, you have to also then think about the next 5 years.
Yes.
So if you don't have time, you're not going to be able to make good decisions for your staff.
Correct.
Thank you so much for today.
Lots
of great insights.
Having me.
Because I talk to a lot of people in F&B, right? And it's always, they're not as eloquent, maybe, and not as good as like speaking their mind. I think that even though she has nothing prepared and I have a full iPad here, everything you say makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's always like step by step, things in place. And also everything that you've mentioned, I agree with, you know, how you run the business, how you should take time for yourself. So let's talk about something a little bit more lighthearted, just to like wrap it up. Sweetly. What is your go-to order at Srisun? Let's say Serangoon Garden.
Okay. I would usually order plain prata, 2 plain prata with fish curry, and I like my fish curry on it. Like, so we call it like kuah campur. So when they serve you, right, they really have the prata soaked in the curry.
Wait, is that a thing?
There is, yes. So we call it prata kuah campur. Yeah.
What is it? How do you say?
Okay, so kuah means is actually the gravy, right? So it's a Malay term. So kuah campur means you mix the gravy in it.
Like, okay.
So if you ask them, right, they will actually shred it for you and they will just put the gravy for you. So I kind of like it soaked. Yeah.
Yes, cute. It's like for kids. You know how you have to shred it for them?
Shred it.
Okay,
Yeah, and then I
interesting.
also have the roja. So I never used to be a roja person, but I think the roja gravy that we have, we perfected it. It's so
Made it
good.
yourself, right?
Yes,
Your own
ourselves.
recipe, yes.
So I will just go for the coconut roja, a tofu, and a hot dog. Just these 3 pieces, and I'll just ask them lots of cucumber and onion, and then we'll have the roja.
Oh, sorry, just to add on, talk a little bit more about the rojak. Because you're saying that you guys have somehow managed to perfect the rojak recipe,
Yes.
right? So if someone was coming for the first time
Yes.
to Srisun,
Yes.
let's not talk about what you would order.
Yes.
What would you recommend for them to order?
Okay, I would actually tell them to go for the roja. I would ask them to go and order the coin prata. Our coin prata is really nice as well, very crispy and fluffy. And then I would ask them to go for the tikka tacos. So tikka tacos is just something that we created. So it's just tacos, but we use prata as the taco.
Oh.
And then you can choose. So we've got like a prawn tikka, fish tikka, chicken tikka, and then we've also got an impossible
Tikka
meat
tacos.
options. Yes.
I love Mexican food. My team all love Mexican food.
Yes.
So that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
We should try that one day. All right, Jay, thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much, Steph.
I hope this hasn't been too difficult.
Not
We're
at
actually
all.
sitting in the outlet on the outside, so there's a lot of people walking around. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always like a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations, and I'm really proud of you. And I'm very thankful that you hired us.
And I'm very
Srisun.
thankful. Business has been so brisk, and I think it's just changed the. I mean, I think one thing that I learned with this reno was, right, I used to think it's only the food, and then if the place is nice, right? Place is nice or people want to come in. But also, right, I think the place kind of wants people to come in. So I've had so many people like, when I walk into your shop, I want to eat. Like,
Right. Yes.
So that is something
Yes.
so with this reno, it initially used to be
Yes.
like, okay, I want it to be good. People would be like, wow, that's it. But I never had the thought that I want people to sit in the place, and I want people to. So I got people walking in, hey, Jay, like, I want to sit here. Early in the morning, you see people, they finish their yoga, they're coming in, they're sitting down.
Relax.
So it's more of the wanting to be in that place. Maybe because I'm not a person who usually sits in a place, like I eat and I go off.
Yes.
But there are people who like hanging out. So that's something that.
This is something we hear a lot about the spaces we design, not to toot our own horn, right? But just the general feedback from our clients at other F&B outlets as well. So their customers also say the same thing.
Yeah.
When they walk into the space, they feel like it's like an extension of their home.
Yeah.
Or what their home could be.
And
It's really cozy.
It's very warm and cozy. So I would never have thought that it would. I mean, my whole
I
idea.
thought that's why you hired us to make
So
it
I wanted it to be nice, but I think the feel, it's more of like how you feel. So it's not just like, hey, I sit, I eat at the prata, it's good.
Yes.
But it's more of like, hey, I really feel nice being here. So that's something that that's something that I learned. So it's after 11 years, is something that I learned.
New
That
as well.
Yeah, like how people feel. Like my place can actually make people feel. It's just not a place where you eat
Correct.
and then they go.
And then that actually value adds to what you were building, revolutionizing like what prata means to people. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching again. And this is Jay. We're at Srisun. She has 5 outlets island-wide. So come visit. Bye.
Bye-bye.